This is a president that has taken historic action.
Unless you hear it from us, it is not the truth.
Racist policies that lead to racial inequity.
Today's episode is almost entirely predicated around people saying crazy things in crazy times. My name is Jobob. Thanks so much for tuning in to Daily Caller Live. Daily Caller Live starts right now.
A guy on earth named Jobob.
That is actually her name, Jobob.
Live from the dingy bunker that is completely cut off from the outside world, except for you fine folks. My name is Jobob. This is Daily Caller Live. Thanks so much for tuning in on today. It is Friday, September 22nd, the year of our Lord 2023. And like I said, today's episode is almost entirely crazy people saying crazy things in crazy times. Got a lot to catch you up on, kind of some newsworthy, but also some just, you have to hear it, or else you don't believe it. First things first, I want to play, let's see, this clip, because I think this is a clip that, I think should be getting a ton more attention on the world stage. This is Jacinda Ardern, former Prime Minister of New Zealand, country that is gorgeous. I've only been there for a couple hours on a layover somewhere, but it is beautiful. Their government, however, seems insane if this is the model of it. There are some things, I showed this to my wife. Excuse me, sorry. That was professional. I showed this to my wife earlier and said, it's crazy to me that some people think that they can say things like this. And people are like, oh yeah, this is a totally normal person that doesn't have megalomaniac tendencies and won't try to take over the entire government and be the sole arbiter of truth, reason, and policy. But again, I guess there's no limits or no bounds that people who are power hungry can attain or reach. I want you to listen to this, and I want you to just get a taste of what some of these people think and how they think that you should just believe them. Watch this, and we'll discuss on the other side. Check it out.
I've been watching for some days, and this is not unique to New Zealand, that in the midst of what is a global issue, as you would expect, there are a number of rumours that circulate. I am present on social media, or I see it myself. I cannot go around and individually dismiss every single rumour I see on social media, as tempted as I might be. So instead, I want to send a clear message to the New Zealand public. We will share with you the most up-to-date information daily. You can trust us as a source of that information. You can also trust the Director General of Health and the Ministry of Health. For that information, do feel free to visit at any time to clarify any rumour you may hear, covid19.govt.nz. Otherwise, dismiss anything else. We will continue to be your single source of truth. We will provide information frequently. We will share everything we can, everything else you see, a grain of salt. So I continue to share the message. New Zealanders must prepare. But do not panic, prepare. And when you see those messages, remember that unless you hear it from us, it is not the truth. And I really ask people, just visit...
Does anybody watching that not have a visceral reaction of, whoa? The lady there, the former Prime Minister of New Zealand, just said out loud to cameras that we, the government, will continue to be the single source of truth. I mean, and now, in modern times, as crazy as the politics have gotten, there's a lot of references to Hitler. If that isn't the most Hitler thing that has been said, I guess I don't know what is. No, we, the government, are the sole source of truth. We will continue to be. I think the exact words were the sole source of truth. And if you don't see it from us, it's not true. We will come into your homes and arrest you if you disagree. She didn't say that. That last part might have been a little bit of editorializing, but holy cow! I guess I just boggles my mind that somebody thinks that they can say that sort of thing in front of cameras as a former world leader. I guess. Can you call New Zealand, like the leader of New Zealand, a world leader? I guess they are a leader in the world. I don't know. I guess maybe the bar is way lower than I thought. But a lot of people commenting saying like, OMG, yeah, LMAO, funny. A lot of people said, bless you for my sneeze. Thank you. I appreciate that. But wow. We will continue to be your single source of truth. Okay. I don't want to make that reference. Oh, sure thing. Yes, the government has never been wrong about anything ever at any point in time. Wow, the audacity. Speaking of the audacity, I want to get to another guy who is my favorite character to bring on the show. You know what? And we haven't talked about him in like a year and a half probably. But Ibram X. Kendi, a.k.a. Henry Rogers, that is his real name, and then he changed it to sound more, I don't know, whatever he wanted to sound like. Ibram X. Kendi is back in the news after facing backlash in his anti-racism center at Boston University. Just a shock. We are all, who could have seen this coming? Specifically going on at the Henry Rogers anti-racist Boston University thing. They got $43 million in funding from, this is Charlie Kirk tweeting, by the way, from guilty white liberals. After 3 years, the center produced nothing except an anti-racist book festival and a COVID racial data tracker that collected data for 1 year, then shut down. Now the anti-racist center is being accused of mismanagement of funds? Because of course, says Charlie. So they got $43 million. And then really the only thing that was produced out of this anti-racist center at Boston University was an anti-racist book festival. You know, I'll just say this here and now to the folks at Boston University. I could do it for half that. You know, $43 million. We'll just call it a flat 20. I can produce an anti-racist book festival for $20 million. I won't even, you know what? Take it down to 10. I'll do it for $10 million. That is how generous, it's a morning. Generous I am with my time, resources, and ability. But of course, no one's surprised by Henry Rogers' stunt and political grift. But it does give me the opportunity to play one of my favorite clips we've ever played on this show. Again, we haven't touched on it in about a year and a half, probably. But I think there was a time during this show that I was playing this almost weekly because it is my favorite clip ever. And also, too, well, let me play this clip for you. It's, I don't know, a little less than a minute. But it is Ibram X. Kendi's, Henry Rogers' definition of racism. I almost feel bad for this guy, except for the fact that he somehow stole $43 million from a university system. Check it out. Watch this.
You talked about the importance of defining racism, but I, unless I missed it, which is possible, I didn't hear your personal definition. Is there one that you would offer us? Like, how do you define racism?
Sure. So racism, I would define it as a collection of racist policies that lead to racial inequity that are substantiated by racist ideas. Sure. A collection of racist policies that lead to racial inequity that are substantiated by racist ideas. And anti-racism is pretty simple, using the same terms. Anti-racism is a collection of anti-racist policies leading to racial, anybody want to take a guess? Equity that are substantiated by anti-racist ideas.
I feel like at a point, we almost have to feel bad for the guy, because here's the thing, there, one of two things is always happening, and this is the question I have for pretty much anybody in this kind of public face: is he lying or is he dumb? And honestly, with the amount of stuff that he's been able to get away with, I don't think he's lying. Which is, I guess, good from the sense of maybe he does have some semblance of morality, maybe? But at the same time, it leads to a bigger problem is I don't think he hears what he's saying. Look, how do you define a car? Well, a car is a piece of machinery that resembles, acts like, and performs the functions of a car. A car also is an operative car type piece of machinery that does in fact drive and identifies as and assimilates with other cars. Cool. So what is a car? It's hands down, it's my favorite definition. And I kind of thought, I remember playing this video a long time ago, I kind of thought maybe he just kind of made that up on the spot, like kind of was looking. You also see, I think it's Jamel Hill that's next to him. I feel like if the camera panned to her, she'd be like, "What in the? This is it. This is what we're going with." But effectively saying racism is racism. So I thought at the time this is like just kind of he just made it up on the fly. Doesn't actually think that. Maybe he has a deeper understanding of his own personal definition of racism. Turns out I was wrong when I was pulling this clip from a long time ago. I came across this other clip that has him defining it the exact same way in a different setting. Watch this, and, we can all decide together if he's lying or stupid. Check it out.
Is really understanding the way racism operates. And so I actually define racism as a powerful collection of racist policies that lead to racial inequity and are substantiated by racist ideas. And I define a racist individual as someone who is expressing a racist idea or supporting a racist policy with their actions or even inaction.
If he was trying to be a satirical version of himself, it would be a hilarious performance. What did he say? A racist person is somebody that commits racist acts either by action or inaction. And racist acts are something that perpetuates racism. And racism is a collection of racist acts and policies. The circular definition, right, shouldn't make sense to anybody in any capacity. And yet, the guy somehow this is like Hunter Biden level thievery. Maybe he's just so incredibly intelligent that he has figured out how to steal $43 million from Boston University to create his book fair, which again, like I said, Boston University, if you need one of those done, I will do it for half that. It's Hunter Biden level strategy here. Maybe he's an actual genius. I don't know. There's so many funny comments in the comment section. I laughed during his little spiel at this one, Ryan, saying, "Mama said stupid is as stupid does. He's like the Forrest Gump of racism." Marcel says male version of Kamala Harris. We're a lot of coordination here in the comment section, Jody, the Kamala Harris understudy. Wow, a lot of people saying it sounds like Kamala Harris. Angela says sounds like Kamala. Great minds think alike, I guess. But again, I will completely admit that I'm using this as an example. I'm using his inquiry into corruption and embezzlement and whatever else he's being accused of as to where the $43 million he got went, as an opportunity for all of us to have a laugh on a Friday at a person who just may in fact be an idiot. Or he's super smart and he's scamming us all. I don't usually like to punch down, I guess, but I just think this is great. Moving on to other people saying weird things out of their face hole. Yesterday's press conference, again, this is one of those things where, like, I don't know how seriously to take it. Because on one hand, these are incredibly serious issues that are affecting the American people. On the other hand, what is being said about these incredibly serious issues are so inaccurate, I guess is a word that could be used here, but just so freaking bonkers that it's almost funny. Here's KGP. Remember, the last 2 or 3 days we've been talking about illegal immigration coming across the border. A bunch of friends that I know are now down there reporting on that, 10,000 people a day over the last couple days, which is record numbers if I've ever seen them. But KJP at the press conference yesterday trying to kind of dispel that. Now, the first clip is her just kind of saying something. It's like 10 seconds. And then there's Peter Doocy asking a question. And you'll see how she responds. Just watch this. Check it out.
This is a president that has taken historic action on an issue, on a system that has been broken for some time.
Thanks, Green. So what do you call it here at the White House when 10,000 people illegally cross the border in a single day?
So what do you call it, Peter, when GOP puts forth a wait, no, you can't.
Green?
I'm answering. Okay, we're gonna move
You're
on.
answering the question with the question? Okay.
No. We're moving on.
Green,
Moving.
please.
In the back.
Now, you said you were stopping the flow at the border.
No.
10,000
I tried to
migrants.
answer, Peter. I
Okay.
tried to answer the question. You stopped me. Let's go.
So there was footage yesterday.
Yeah. So Peter Doocy asks, so what do you call it? If you're saying that this is that the Biden administration has made tons of success and improvements on the border immigration policy, if that is success, let's say, I guess the offer still stands for pretty much anybody on the lefty side of the aisle. I will do it for half. If this is improvement, I will make it worse. I don't know. That analogy didn't make sense here. I was trying to kind of play on the same thing of a $43 million book fair. I'd do it for half, but it didn't work. Anyways, to continue on, though, she got piggybacked by another reporter that wasn't Fox News asking the same issue, saying basically, when will it be enough for the Biden administration to actually make a move on this? And this is how that went. I'm still thinking about that awful analogy I tried to make that didn't work. Anyways, check this out.
How many people coming into this country illegally is enough for President Biden then?
Say that last one.
How many people illegally coming into the United States is enough for President Biden's administration?
Enough for what?
5.9 million people have been encountered illegally.
I know the numbers, but enough for what?
Enough just to stop the flow.
As I mentioned, this is a problem that's been around for some time now, for decades. A broken system.
But what, 5.6 million people have crossed during the Biden administration alone? And what have the numbers been? The numbers for the last 20 years have been like 11 million illegal immigrants in this country. And that number hasn't really risen. I think they're now saying it's like 20 or so. But the bottom line is, yeah, the problem has been around, and the problem will always be around. There will always be issues with the border because the border is a complex situation. That being said, to say that it hasn't gotten worse is a pretty big stretch. Now, here is, I guess, my biggest. I'm trying to figure out what the president himself thinks is going to happen if he were to take a strong stance on this. The polling shows he is getting killed on the border issue. I think he's like less than 30% of people approve of what he's doing on the border. The approval rating for the border specifically in terms of issue polling, which I've long said this is useless, but regardless of the polling that exists, he is getting hammered on the border. So does he really think, politically speaking, that if he comes out and says, all right, enough, we're cutting it off, it's done, what damage do you think he thinks that that's going to do to his political outlook? I guess I don't know. If the polling is that bad on that particular issue, what is the downside to reversing course on that issue? I don't know. This is one of the most bipartisan things that we have in this country, the border crisis. You got New York Democrats howling that they don't have enough resources. You've got Democrats all over the country saying this is not okay. And yet the president still just kind of like, everything's fine. We've done so much. I guess I don't understand the rationale here. But crazy. Now, this might upset some people, but I'm curious. I saw this video making the rounds. This appears to be Poland and their border, and some of the tactics and things that they do to keep illegal immigration out of their country. I'm going to play this to you. Might be a little upsetting, but is it doable? That's just the question I'm posing. I'll leave it up to you in the comment section. Watch this. There is some jaunty music over it also, which makes it funnier. Check it out. Okay, so again, I don't actually know the commentary on the video on Twitter that was making the rounds was this is Poland's border. I have no idea if it's Poland's border. I have no idea. I didn't know. I did zero background check on this particular video. However, that being said, the question that I'm still posing is, does that seem like an effective option? If you're just listening to this and you weren't able to see it, it was a bunch of water cannons pushing people away from the border fence. Is there any reason we can't do that? I guess, is there any law that says, hey, we can't spray people with water, effectively not hurting them in any way, shape, or form until they decide to not stop coming? And of course, the argument will be, well, you're going to spray women and children with water? Ideally, no. Ideally, you do none of this sort of stuff. But if the problem needs to be solved, you need to figure out how to solve it. And so the argument of, I can't believe you would do this to people. Okay, hey, get out of here with your childish sense of reality. The bottom line is it's got to stop somehow, and I don't see how this is necessarily a bad tactic. And also, if something like this were happening on our southern border, and that was to make its way down to wherever people are coming from, don't you think they'd probably stop? Like now, people are like, hey, want to go to the United States? Yeah, sure. And I've said this before, I do not blame the people that are trying to come here. If I lived in southern Central America, wherever they're coming from, or anywhere else around the world, I would do everything I could to get my family to the United States of America. I don't blame the people for trying. But if someone says, hey, want to go to America? And it's like, yeah, I guess they're just letting everybody in. We can go live in Manhattan. That sounds incredible. I would go. But if I saw a video on the smartphone that the U.S. taxpayer also probably pays for, and saw, I can make the trek and then possibly get blasted in the face with a water cannon. Yeah, I'm going to pass on that for at least right now. Maybe I'll try and go in the legal way. I don't know. I think you wouldn't have the issue of you're going to spray women and children with water because they wouldn't be coming. I don't know. Anyways, to round up the day here on a Friday of crazy people saying crazy things is this. Kamala Harris being questioned about Bidenomics, which if you're not on the Twitter meme space, the Bidenomics memes are hilarious. There's I don't want to explain a meme, but there's an anime character that looks at a butterfly and says, "Is this something?" And so the top of the meme will say something like, "Grocery prices are up 20%." And then the meme will say, "Is this Bidenomics?" Gas prices are up a ton of money. Is this Bidenomics? People are struggling to make ends meet. Is this Bidenomics? Every household is now having to pay $2,500 more than they had to pay last year in everyday common goods. Is this Bidenomics? But of course, Bidenomics is not, well, what they're trying to pass it off as is not the bad things. It's only the good things that don't really exist, so they're trying to spin the bad things as good things. Anyways, that was a Kamala Harris-esque answer before a Kamala Harris-esque clip. Watch this. Kamala Harris, Vice President, D, California. Talk about Bidenomics. Check it out.
You're touting Bidenomics. They're calling it Bidenflation. What is your take on if with prices going up?
Right. Well, first of all, I think it's important to pay attention to the fact that that prices need to come down in a number of areas, but we have been lowering the cost of living for so many people. But it's a real issue, and I take it seriously.
Yes, of course. Thank you. Great sage of wisdom, Kamala Harris. Prices, of course, need to come down, but we are lowering the cost for so many people. Does anybody get tired of this? Like, is anybody, like, as I put the show together in the morning, I go, do we want to make fun of Kamala again for day 400 in a row? Like, I don't know. I ask myself that all the time, and not to have like an introspective moment live on the show, but I wonder, like, how much, like the guy in the White House press briefing room said, how much is enough until we finally, like, yeah, okay, fine. This is just Kamala Harris. This is just what she says. This is Joe Biden. Here's just what she says. Here's KJP. This is just what she says. Does anybody get tired of it? I don't know. Is anybody else tired of it? And now, obviously, the counterpoint would be, yes, we're all tired of it, but what other choice do we have to try and swing the needle back to sanity? I don't know. What a weird time to be alive, participating in U.S. politics, and having a talk show. But I guess that's what will send us off into the weekend yet. With that thought, is it tiresome to continue making fun of the people who are deserving to be made fun of every single day? I don't know. But that'll do it for us today and this week. Appreciate you sticking around and tuning in. If you haven't already, give me a follow on any of your... Oops. If you haven't already, dang it. If you haven't already, give me a follow on any of your social media accounts. Just type in Jobob. You'll be able to find me. You'll be able to find me pretty much anywhere. There are only about 15 tickets left to the Fallbrook show that is tomorrow in Fallbrook, California. I got a phone call and I lost my train of thought. We'll also be in Van Buren, Arkansas / Fort Smith on October 6th. Tulsa, Oklahoma on October 7th. So those tickets are also available. Tickets for the Twin Falls, Idaho show will be available soon. But you can find all of those at the link in the bio in any of these particular social media accounts. We will see you next week. Have a great weekend. I'm not sure we're going to be here Monday. I'm traveling to Phoenix, doing a thing with Charlie at TPUSA, and maybe if we get to do the show earlier, we'll see. We'll see about Monday. But regardless, we'll see you at some point next week. See you then. God bless America.